celebration with Lustine Toyota under Virginia's largest American flag, or shop LustineToyota.com.
Good morning, America. Flash flooding creating scenes like these from Colorado to Maryland. Cars drowning in a lake of water and hail, and heavy rain leading to sinkholes in the south. Now, new concerns about that tropical system. The warning for Florida this morning.
President Trump now says his summit with Kim Jong-un is in jeopardy.
There's a very substantial chance that it won't work out.
But the president also hints that he could back down from a key demand, and he has a new guarantee for the North Korean dictator. Incredible new video overnight. American passengers escaped this wreckage of a plane that took off in Texas, snapping in two. How everyone on board survived.
And the 30-year-old whose parents took him to court.
You're going to make it so that these people can just throw me out?
Now ordered by a judge to leave the parents' house. What he's telling GMA this morning.
And playoff stunner. Overnight, the Rockets roared back. Houston taking home a nail-biting win. Beating Steph Curry and the Warriors is the super team in super trouble.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
And good morning, America. Did you hear a little hope in Michael Strahan's voice with that final question? Your Houston Rockets tying up the series 2-2. Let's look at Steph Curry right there. Hit a three-pointer in the third quarter. A little bit of a dance there. Wasn't dancing at the end.
No, as Mama said, when you strut, you stumble. And, you know, this could be the first time in 4 years that we don't see the Warriors or the Cavs in the championship. Both series, exciting, tied at 2 games apiece.
And I turned off the TV when it was 12-2, George. And Houston was not in the lead, so I woke up to a happy for me, being a Houston boy. But we're going to talk about that later. But first, we're going to begin with that dangerous flash flooding across the country. Let's take a look at Fort Collins, Colorado. Cars stuck in the mud, covered with hail after a storm. We're going to go right to Ginger, who's been tracking it all. And Ginger, there were scenes like this all the way to Maryland.
That's right. It only takes 1 to 2 inches of rain falling very quickly, and you get a dangerous commute like this one here in Montgomery County, Maryland, where a rescue being performed there. And then you can see the images very similar in Arlington, Virginia. So right around the D.C. area, those thunderstorms move through very quickly. And I like to say it only takes that much, because it's going to be 6 to even 12 inches of rain in the next 10 days or so. That's a place that you've got to watch. The National Hurricane Center now has this chance for development of an area of thunderstorms just east of the Yucatan Peninsula to develop into a tropical depression. Whether that happens or not, you are going to get some places that get a half a foot of rain going into the holiday weekend. So we've got the European model here. As that low moves toward the coast, if you're traveling I-10 or I-75, Atlanta right through Macon, down through Florida, there are places that have already had 17 inches of rain in the last 10 days, Michael, in Florida. They could get another half foot.
All right, Ginger, that tropical system is also leading to new concerns in Florida. The governor there warning of possible heavy rain and flooding. There are already multiple sinkholes opening up, and you can see one of them in this drone shot right there in that neighborhood. ABC's Victor Kendo is on the scene. Good morning to you, Victor.
Good morning, Michael. This area, specifically this neighborhood, just can't seem to catch a break, and all the rain in the forecast is simply not going to help matters. That big sinkhole opened up right here behind us, the intersection blocked off on all sides. So let's take you up live to our GMA drone. You can see it opened up right in front of a home, swallowing part of a driveway and the street. And neighbors here tell us that the homeowner hasn't lived there since February, when another series of sinkholes opened up and her house was deemed unsafe.
This Florida town plagued by sinkholes. 4 sinkholes opening up this week. This one right in front of 2 homes in a retirement community, swallowing part of a driveway and the street.
We keep waiting for the driveway to collapse and then maybe the house to collapse.
And at a nearby high school, these depressions about 15 to 20 feet wide, also forming near a parking lot. The persistent rain only making matters worse. 9 straight days of downpours, already more than twice the average rainfall for the month of May.
The heavy rains are going to trigger more sinkholes.
Just weeks ago in Ocala, Florida, 15 sinkholes opening up in a retention pond, forcing families from 8 homes to evacuate. Last year, this 225-foot wide sinkhole north of Tampa swallowed and destroyed 2 homes. Neighbors capturing the moment the roofs came crashing down, the houses crumbling. And in 2013, one sinkhole turning deadly when it formed underneath a man's bedroom as he slept. He vanished into the earth.
Here is another live look from our drone. The sheriff's office here is now asking residents to be very careful and alert them if they see anything that might be a sinkhole. Governor Rick Scott also now warning Floridians, letting them know about the potential for a lot more rain and flooding later this week. Michael?
All right, thank you so much for that, Victor. George?
Okay, Michael, thanks. We're going to go to the White House now, and new questions about that nuclear summit between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. President now says there's a very substantial chance it won't take place on June 12th as foreign journalists head to North Korea to witness the destruction of a nuclear test site by the North Koreans. Our senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega is tracking all the latest. Good morning, Cecilia.
George, good morning to you. That is the big question here this morning. Will it or will it not happen? The president says his meeting with Kim Jong-un might not happen. One thing is clear, its future hangs in the balance. In the Oval Office with South Korea's president by his side, President Trump cast a shadow over his summit with Kim Jong-un, saying it could be delayed or altogether canceled.
There's a very substantial chance that it won't work out, and that's okay. That doesn't mean it won't work out over a period of time, but it may not work out for June 12th.
With North Korea threatening to back out, the president also raised the possibility of backing down from a key U.S. demand, complete and immediate denuclearization.
It would certainly be better if it were all in one. Does it have to be? I don't think I want to totally commit myself, but all in one would be a lot better.
So what went wrong? President Trump blames Kim's recent trip to China, saying the North Korean leader changed his tune after meeting with the Chinese president.
I think there was a little change in attitude from Kim Jong-un, so I don't like that. I don't like that.
The president's Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, who has twice met with Kim, now says he's not willing to bet on the future of a summit.
I'm not a betting man, so I wouldn't care to predict whether it will happen, only to predict that we'll be ready in the event that it does.
While President Trump continues to offer a dictator like Kim assurances like protection and safety.
We will guarantee his safety. He will be safe. He will be happy. His country will be rich.
Okay, here's where things stand at this hour. South Korean officials say there is a 99.9% chance that this summit will take place. But I am told less than 2 weeks ago, a North Korean delegation failed to show up for a planning meeting with U.S. officials. That gave the White House cause for concern. A U.S. delegation is still actively making preparations. George, I'm told that this weekend they will be heading to Singapore. They're planning to head to Singapore, where this meeting is taking place. But at this point, it is anyone's guess.
Yeah, we'll see if the North Koreans show up for that. Meantime, Cecilia, on another front, on the legal front, a new move that could have consequences for President Trump. His former lawyer, Michael Cohen's business partner, a man named Evgeny Friedman, has now said he's going to cooperate with prosecutors in a case here in New York. That could put more pressure on Mr. Cohen and eventually President Trump.
Exactly. Friedman cut a deal and will serve no jail time in exchange for cooperating with state and federal investigators. That includes those prosecutors in New York involved in the Cohen case. This is a close business associate of Michael Cohen. Cohen, as we know, is already under a ton of pressure after that raid on his home and his offices. You know this, George. President Trump had boasted that Cohen wasn't the type of guy who would flip. We will see now.
More pressure coming. Okay, Cecilia, thanks very much. Robin?
And George, now the results from those primary elections in 4 states overnight. Women winning big. Fighter pilot Amy McGrath getting a surprise victory in Kentucky, beating Lexington Mayor Jim Gray in the Democratic primary for a House seat there. And history being made in Georgia. Stacey Abrams won the Democratic primary for governor, making her the nation's first black woman to lead a major party's ticket for governor. And here's what she said after the win.
We are writing the next chapter of Georgia's future, where no one is unseen, no one is unheard, and no one is uninspired. I hope that you will all join us in our fight for the future.
And if she wins in November, she'll be the first African-American woman governor in this country and also the first woman governor of Georgia.
Wow. Would only be the third African-American governor in the state. Of course, it is a long shot down there in Georgia, but what a night for women last night as well. This is really shaping up to be the year of the women as we head into these midterms elections. Not only Stacey Abrams, Amy McGrath, also in Texas, Latina, Lupe Valdez, Latino, gay Latina, now the Democratic nominee for governor there. Again, a long shot, but a big win in the primary.
Progress. That's right.
Let's move on now to an amazing survival story. Take a look at these pictures. Private plane from Austin, Texas, broke in half when it crashed in Honduras, but everyone on board is alive and expected to recover. ABC's Marcus Moore has the story. Good morning, Marcus.
George, good morning. When you look at the video of that plane, it's absolutely astonishing that everyone survived. But some of the people on board did suffer serious injuries, and they remain hospitalized this morning.
This morning, we are learning more details about the passengers who miraculously survived this horrific plane crash. Joe Rotunda is the COO of Easy Corp, the second largest pawn shop in the U.S. This morning, his wife tells ABC News her husband suffered broken ribs and a punctured lung, but is expected to be okay. The 3 other passengers on the plane, all employees of Easy Corp, the pilot and a crew member, all survived, pulled to safety by first responders and volunteers who bravely raced to the smoldering wreckage. The Gulfstream, which departed from Austin, crashed off the runway in Honduras, snapping the Gulfstream in half. This video shows first responders as they tried to reach the passengers, some trying to lift the door, others using fire extinguishers around the plane, firefighters covering it with foam. Tegucigalpa Airport, surrounded by mountains, is notorious for being one of the most difficult to approach.
You could be too fast as you're coming down that hill, and if you land too fast and you don't have the airplane under control, it's not hard, as we've seen in numerous instances at this airport, to go off the end of the runway.
In 2011, a commercial airline crashed while attempting to land here, killing all 14 on board.
This morning, we know that 3 passengers have already been released from the hospital. They could return home to Texas either today or tomorrow. Robin, absolutely incredible that they survived.
Absolutely. All right, Marcus, thank you. Now to a major new recommendation from the NTSB to make school buses safer, suggesting all new school buses have both lap and shoulder seat belts. This in the wake of several deadly crashes, including that fatal accident in New Jersey just last week. Our senior transportation correspondent, David Curley, is in Washington with those details. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Robin. A moving bus and no belts. That is the problem that the safety board came up with, this significant move to recommend that all buses have belts after they investigated 2 deadly accidents.
A school bus wrapped around a tree in Tennessee.
I can see an arm moving.
The driver sent to prison. In Baltimore, a school bus mangled in a crash that killed 6. In neither case did the buses have seatbelts, and we've seen in those rollover tests what can happen to those in the seats without belts. Crash test dummies flying around the interior. This morning, a strong recommendation.
This will be a historic day. We have tiptoed around that for a long time, and it's time to take a hard stance on this.
Only a handful of states currently require 3-point belts on the 500,000 school buses on the roads. New Jersey, site of last week's side impact school bus crash, requires only lap belts.
You could hear the tires screeching. You could actually hear the bus hitting the guardrail.
I have a full school bus and I have victims on the ground.
And that did not prevent 2 deaths. One of the reasons that the NTSB is calling on New Jersey and others to add shoulder belts to their buses. While school buses do remain the safest way to transport students, the NTSB says they can be even safer with those belts, as well as automatic braking and electronic stability control systems.
16 recommendations in all by the safety board, and a lot of them were about the bus drivers, that they're vetted correctly, Robin, and that they're qualified to drive our kids to school. Robin?
Oh, so important. All right, David, thank you.
It sure is. And now we're going to remember one of America's greatest writers. Philip Roth died last night at the age of 85 after more than half a century of writing that brought him the Pulitzer Prize, 2 National Book Awards. President Obama presented him with the National Humanities Medal for his body of work, which include Portnoy's Complaint, Goodbye Columbus, and American Pastoral. When asked to define himself, Roth said simply, I'm an American.
Straight to the point. All right, thank you for that, Georgia. Now we have a holiday travel alert. As you prepare to hit the road for Memorial Day, a new warning about gas prices. The average for a gallon across the country is now $2.94. That's a 4-year high for the holiday, and it's up 12 cents over just 2 weeks. ABC's TJ Holmes, he's on the road in New Jersey. And TJ, today is your last chance to fill up on cheaper gas because it's just going to get more expensive.
That's right. It's expensive just about everywhere you go, Straight, because we're all about to hit the road with 42 million of our closest friends, right? That's the highest number of Americans we've seen hit the road for Memorial Day in the past 12 plus years. But as you say, it's happening at a time where we're seeing the highest gas prices we've seen in the past several years. So what are you supposed to do? Sit at home? No, all I need you to do is just keep watching right here for the next 90 seconds, and we're going to save you some money.
Prices are on the rise.
Can't afford it. It's outrageous.
Nationwide.
This is shocking.
In California, they're up to $4 a gallon, nearly $5 at this station in Manhattan.
I think anything above $3.50 starts to take a toll.
This Memorial Day, a gallon of gas will set you back about 65 cents more on average compared to last year. That means that over this holiday weekend alone, drivers will shell out an additional $1 billion. And those high prices could affect your travel plans. In a survey conducted last year, 82% of people said they plan to take a summer road trip. This year, that number is down to 58%. Many people say high gas prices are impacting their decision. So we asked our resident GMA mechanic to show us how to get the most out of every drop.
Take the junk out of the trunk.
An extra 100 pounds reduces fuel economy by up to 1%. Also, get your air filter checked out.
You could save up to 10% on your fuel economy by having a clean air filter in your car.
And don't forget to check that tire pressure.
To find the correct tire pressure for your vehicle, look on the sticker on the driver's side door jamb. That will give you the optimal tire pressure, and you can save 3 to 5% in fuel economy by having the correct tire pressure.
Some like small percentages, but they make a difference. And something else, Strahan, are you one of those people, if the speed limit's 65, do you go 70 or do you go 60? Well, if you go 60, just slow down a little bit. It will save you money. It doesn't feel like it at the time, but it adds up over time to maybe hundreds of dollars over the year. And also, don't hit the gas and hit the brake. You know, you're not starting a race, right, at the stoplight. Don't do that also, and that can save. Again, it doesn't feel like it, but that can add up and save on your fuel economy.
Well, I tell you what, TJ, I'm not going to admit to speeding. Let's just say I like to get there. Okay, how about that? But if you do want the lowest prices, what is the best day to buy gas?
This is important. The best day of the week, drum roll please, to buy gas was 2 days ago. It was on Monday, so you missed it. So how's that for news you can use, Straight? No, but you need to gas up today, because today you're going to get the best price you can on gas.
TJ, I got to ask you a question. Have you ever driven below the speed limit?
Have I? Of course I have.
Your face is telling a different story, TJ. Thank you for those tips, though. Thank you.
I can't make it out to get gas today. Man, I should ask him to bring me back a 5-gallon jug.
That would help. This is going to make you happy, though. That incredible finish of the Rockets-Warriors game last night. Houston topping the Warriors 95-92, rebounding from that 41-point spanking in Game 3. Series all even at 2 apiece. The series shifts back to Houston for Game 5, where the hometown team will have a little extra motivation because the Rockets plan to honor the victims of the mass shooting at Santa Fe High School, offer free tickets for that school's seniors.
That is nice.
That is nice.
Done good stuff for the community. I know Chris Paul also sponsored that prom for the school out there when they had the flooding. So great job, Rockets. And now we're going to go to Ginger with
Along the East Coast, we've got San Diego County, California, 50-acre wildfire, 15% contained now, and Chicago this weekend could see their first 90 of the season. Your local weather in 30 seconds. First, though, the rainy cities, sponsored by Sensodyne Pronamel.
Enamel is the strong white outer layer of your tooth surface. The thing that's really important to dentists is to make sure that that enamel stays strong and resilient for a lifetime. The more that we can strengthen and reharden that tooth surface, the whiter their patient's teeth are going to be. Dentists are going to really want to recommend Pronamel Strong and Bright. It helps to strengthen and reharden the enamel. It also has stain lifting action. It's going to give their patients the protection that they need and the whiter teeth that they want.
Well, at the bus stop this morning, after all that rain yesterday, the kids may have to deal with a little bit of patchy fog, but 70 degrees the temperature, pretty comfortable, and it gets better this afternoon with the humidity levels dropping. Close to 80 by recess, 82 degrees by drop-off time later today. So a really nice day, but tomorrow's A few showers, the high 71 on Monday, the coolest out of the weekend.
Coming up, we have the story that a lot of people are talking about. That 30-year-old taken to court by his parents, ordered to move out of their house, now telling his side of the story why he says he didn't want to leave and doesn't want to go.
Free food.
Yeah, and this was caught on camera. Cyclist fed up by a bomb squad investigation decided to rush in there himself. Boy, is that scary.